local family is suing the Franklin County Sheriff's Office for how jail staff handled the death of an inmate with a developmental disorder. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Alyssa Warner.
And I'm Austin Reed. The woman was in custody for a total of 4 days, but according to the family's attorney, the last 30 hours of her life, she was in severe distress. Only Apple Valley News Now spoke with the lawyer on the case and a family member. We do want to warn you, though, some of the footage here may be disturbing to some.
Is she the nurse?
She is the nurse, so she's gonna check you again.
I'll check your vitals again.
As soon as you go in here and sit on the mat, she'll be able to check you.
This was the last few moments of 42-year-old Fabiola Valenzuela's life. And to this day, it is hard for her son, Simon, to watch. Tell me a little bit about your mom.
So she was a very caring person, she loved being around her family. She loved being, she was just really social, really talkative.
Valenzuela of Connell suffered from developmental disabilities and had the cognitive capacity of a 12-year-old.
I knew Fabiola. She was a very kind person. She used to be my client on a prior case.
But in March of 2022, Valenzuela threw a flower pot through a door at what's now the demolished Thunderbird Motel in Pasco, causing damage to the glass window. Fabiola was arrested and taken to the Franklin County Jail.
She was more like a child. As you might imagine, because of that, also she maybe made some decisions that somebody that thought like a child would,
That's Eduardo Morfin of Morfin Law Firm of Kennewick. He took Fabiola's case and is now suing the county, along with R&B Fleck Enterprises, who is contracted to provide medical and mental health services, plus Western Medical Resources out of Walla Walla, Sheriff Jim Raymond in his official capacity, as well as another individual, Deputy Lindy Nothi. She was tasked with checking on the inmates that night.
We obtained video, and we're missing a large portion of the video from when she initially was put into the cell. We estimate about 20 hours maybe we're missing, but we were provided about 33 hours of video. And during these 33 hours of video, you could see that Fabiola is in distress.
Morfin also tells me that Valenzuela was not responding to medical questions. Staff did decide that she needed medical clearance before being booked, but Morfin says no medical clearance was ever sought.
The way that they treated her was just really, it was inhumane, it's not something that you can do to a human being. It's not something that you wish upon on anyone.
The $25.5 million suit claims that throughout her time in custody, Valenzuela did not receive her prescribed medication and was placed in solitary isolation for several days and in this cell with only one window on the door, which was covered by a screen, and the only means of observing the inside of the cell was through a camera placed in the corner of the ceiling. Court documents claim an inmate reported seeing Valenzuela covered in feces. The coroner's office later declared that Fabiola actually died from a meth overdose.
And they just completely ignore that she's in distress. They completely ignore that she's rolling around the floor of her cell. They completely ignore that her cell's in just a mess, it's in disarray. They ignore that she's not eating. They ignore that she's not drinking water. And by now she should be extremely dehydrated at a very dangerous level of dehydration. They don't get help for her.
Now, we do know that one of the deputies was subsequently terminated from their employment at Franklin County for falsifying prisoner observation logs in prior incidents. It is not clear yet if that guard is connected to this case. In the meantime, Fabiola's son and lawyer are demanding change.
People have inherent value. People make some bad choices. I'll give you that. But people have value, and people have families who care about them, and even if they make bad choices, they can turn it around.
As for Valenzuela's son, Simon, he wants to ensure this kind of thing doesn't happen to anybody else.
Me and my family were just doing it for the justice, I want to see something be done, because this can prevent from happening again. I've read about things that have happened in the past 2-3 weeks in Yakima. It's happened again.
Now, we did speak to Franklin County Sheriff Jim Raymond over the phone. He said that because this is now in litigation, they could not comment just yet. But stay with us for updates.